Welcome, friends, to another episode of Unstoppable Overcomers. I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. Before we have our amazing guest, Stephanie, join us, I just want to give a shout out to our first sponsor of today's show, which is Cast Magic. If you are a coach or somebody who runs a podcast, this is something that you really want to get your hands on. It has saved me at least 10 hours a week in the development of my podcast and my shows, and in my coaching business. Gives amazing tools for each. So go get your free trial today. Sign up with this link, which will be also in the show notes. With that, I want to bring to the stage my amazing friend Stephanie. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be so much fun.
It is going to be so much fun. I met this woman out of the blue. It was a random meeting. Well, I really don't believe in that. I believe it was a God ordained meeting, and I had some fun recording an episode with her. And I'm like, no, you need to come on our show. And so here she is, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Incredible lady. So Stephanie, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, first of all.
It's so interesting because I always ask my guests that question too. And it's so easy asking it versus telling. All right. Hi. New York girl. Live on Long Island all my life. Wife to a very funny man who makes me laugh every day, 40 years this year. Christ, it ain't easy, but definitely worth it. A proud mama bear of 3 amazing adults. And now we get the honor of being grandparents. I'm a lovey to my little Vincent, who's 18 months. It's so much fun to watch your kids do it and take what you've given them and see it in action in today's time, which everything, of course, is different. I've always worked, either for myself or what I call for the man. Currently, 3 years ago, right before I turned 60, finally scratched my itch and launched a podcast called Joy Found Here. Who knew? Oh my goodness, it was just going to be so life-changing that I was just going to love it as much as I do. And I'm in the process right now. My day job is as an HR director. I've been doing that for 12 years. And within the next, I would say 120 days, transitioning really just into Joy Found Here community online and just making a really great safe haven for all of us to gather. That's it about me. I do have a fun little tidbit. I love the fact that this is, a show, TV. So my family and I, we were on a Gordon Ramsay cooking show like 8 years ago. We cooked live in front of America. It was a summer show called The F Word. And we had a week in Hollywood. It was an amazing experience. And thank you for having me here.
I love that. I did not know about you. So I learned something new today.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I'm sorry, what was
that experience like?
So here we go. At the time, my daughter was working with me at the same company. We come home one day and my husband says, he's got a great voice. He's always wanted to be a voiceover actor or sing or whatever. And he says, listen, we're going to be doing a Skype with, this is how long ago it was. We're going to be doing a Skype with some producers. I answered an email about, are you America's best home cookers or what family? And at the time we would host every Sunday these beautiful, really nice Sunday dinners. Everybody was welcome. We'd have 20-something people at the table, make a bunch of different things. And it was really just a place to, again, gather, talk, and dump your stuff and laugh. So, and my husband's an okay cook. He can cook some things. My daughter's a very good cook. So I'm like, I'm sorry, what? He says, yeah, they want to meet us. Okay, fine. What is this guy doing? We come home from work and now we're going to go on a Skype. We go on a Skype, we meet the producers, we all talk, we tell them our story, why they liked it, I don't know. And then they're like, okay, send us some. At the time, I have two daughters and a son. My son was in college. He wasn't in the Skype. At the time, send us some family pictures. We do that. Then they're like, who's the young guy? Who's the boy? Oh, he's my son who, like, maybe he can make a hamburger, maybe on the grill. Yeah, no, he's at school. Oh, we want to talk to him too. Okay, good luck there. So P.S. we get chosen. There's only 4 that can be on the show. My older daughter, who was fine with not being in the kitchen cooking. We fly out to Hollywood. We have to cook, of all things, chicken cacciatore. I've made 1,000 things in my life. I'm a good cook. But I have never ever. I don't even think I had eaten chicken cacciatore. So we have a whole recipe. You go through it, you learn it. It's amazing. A professional kitchen is far from your kitchen. Just the weight of the cast iron frying pans and stuff. But it was a lot of fun. You really see how the sausage gets made in Hollywood. And it was an experience, and we lived to talk about it. It was fun.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that for you.
Yeah.
And I love that your family was able to do that. That is so awesome.
It was the whole time, like, we're on the plane, like, are they really flying us out? We all have our suites at the hotel. Are they really doing this? Like, are we really going to be on TV? Like, get ready for hair and makeup. What? Yeah. So it was fun.
I love that. That is so cool. And what was Gordon Ramsay like?
He is, first of all, he's quite a presence. Now I'm 5 feet of nothing. One of my daughters is 4'11". We're not big people. He's tall. There's nothing small about him physically. Right. His presence and his energy, when he's in the room, and he is the nicest guy. Obviously, a show is tuned to every character. So he's in a supportive role. He's not, breaking you down because this is not our dream. We're home cooks. What are you kidding? These are our flavors. So he was extremely, extremely supportive and just a really, really nice guy. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You never know, everybody's in
You never
Hollywood
know.
and they have this persona. So, that added.
It's all geared as to, again, the thread and the theme of what they're going for. Yeah.
Right.
It was
exactly.
fun.
I love that.
And here I am again come on, Dora. What are the odds? I'm so excited.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about your overcoming story. I believe everybody has one. So share with us a little bit about yours.
Mine, and I think why I wound up on this path at this time in my life. So I think a lot of it stems back to, I lost my mom when I was 24, pregnant with my first daughter. My mother was 52. And for all of those years, quite honestly, I really thought, I'm gonna, that's my expiration date. If it happened to her, it'll happen to me. And I lived my life and I raised, especially my daughters, I had them young in my 20s, really differently. I was in a hurry. I was in a big hurry to get it all in. Cause I don't know, I didn't think about, am I going to see their wedding days? I just didn't allow myself to think that way. And then I had started thinking, in my 40s, you become obviously lost a little in your identity when you do have children, or if you're raising anything, that you're no longer Stephanie. You are somebody's wife. You're somebody's mother, and you lose that first name, or you're identified by what you do at work. I've done 1,000 things. I refuse to, hold on to any of that. Mm-hmm. And I really started a little path that I was probably always drawn to, in a little self-development, it's time that I take the pom-poms. I got to cheer for me, but who the hell am I? I was very fortunate to be in a group. We did Law of Attraction, which just morphed into a 14-year wonderful adventure of everything, a lot of meditation, a lot of visualization and why not you, really looking back and working on your worth. And P.S., when I woke up on my 53rd birthday, I was just like balls to the wall. I hope I could say that. Sorry.
Of course.
Let's
Yeah.
go, because there's more for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was really a matter of, I want the path to be a little easier, especially in the workplace, because that
Mm-hmm.
spills out into your life. For women, for my daughters, I know how I had to, fight tooth and nail. Equal, haha. But the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And if they don't oil it, that means, you're not in the right place. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
Find the right place for you. It is there. So I kind of just started that pathway. I stepped back. I worked for myself for a while, which was wonderful. And then as my son was finishing high school, I was just like, there is college, and there's something to be said for a weekly paycheck at this point. So let me see what's there, even though I just didn't want to give up the freedom I had, but I didn't have a steady stream. I had a lot of ebbs and flows. When it was there, whoo, let's go. It was there. But when it wasn't there, so I went for a little bit of consistency. 12 years later, it's time. It's good. We're good. And then the podcast was just not even the cherry on top, just the first scoop of a gigantic Jim Dandy. It's everybody's got a story, and we're all phoenixes that just rise from the ashes in such a beautiful way. And while you're going through it, it's crappy. It definitely is. But it's all for the better.
Girlfriend, you have said so much in that time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And, we've talked about this before. And the reason why I think we're like kindred spirits, like the yang to someone's yang, because as you're talking, I'm just like, yes, this is what I'm seeing across the board with the people that I talk to, the women that are like, they're tired, and they're tired of being just like Mrs. Odell or Mrs. Riviera, right? And it's just like, it's not that we're tired of it. It's just, we, like you said, we lose our identity in it. We become somebody's wife, we become someone's mother. And then when the kids leave the house, then there's the emptiness syndrome. And then there's the, okay, well, now I'm a grandmother, and what
Now,
do I do with
I
that?
can be 1,000. Call me anything. I always said, call me whatever.
Yeah,
It's not what I identify with. So
exactly.
that's the, I think, important part of it,
Mm-hmm.
that but it takes work. It ain't easy. It really takes
Exactly.
work.
And especially like, and I don't know about you, but there have been times I've like lost myself even in the workplace, like you were
Mhm.
talking about before, right? Because we want to be and do everything.
Yeah,
However, that's impossible. And
indeed.
then we lose ourselves in trying to keep everybody else happy. And then
Mhm.
here, then you hit 47 and you realize, shit, like I've just adhered to what everybody else in my life wanted and not exactly what wanted, right? And so
Right.
you go with the flow, and then now you have that crisis in you that's saying, oh shit, no, like this has got to change. And so, like you said, reinventing yourself, having your own podcast, helping those and serving those who, you know are like-minded as you, and things like that. So I love what you're doing. I love that, we're basically doing the same thing,
We are.
serving the same people, and bringing the light to the dark. Because
Mm,
when you're going through that shit, you have tunnel vision, and you don't sometimes, no, you don't even realize the darkness that you've put yourself into sometimes,
right.
subconsciously. And the phoenix, hello, that's my bird.
The Phoenix and all, we've heard it again. I won't even go oxygen mask, but I think a good visual for me, and that it really worked a lot of years ago, is, obviously you have to fill your cup first before you give. And I'm not even talking takers. Before you give, you got to have your cup filled to the brim. And what you get to give is the overflow. That's what people get, is all your extra, but they don't get, but you still are 100%. And that's the, versus I've got I've got a couple drops in here. Here you go. No, take it back.
I love that you said it exactly that way, because a lot of us, don't even realize that that's what we're doing. And that's the third time I've heard that message in the last 2 months. Giving from the overflow, not giving from your tank.
Right.
Because for decades, some of us go, no, here you go, here you go, here you go.
Well, again, it was modeled to us, and our mothers, grandmothers, etc. That was the role. I think our generation is really one of the, well, I'm sure there were a smaller handful prior to us, but they certainly weren't embraced. It wasn't, a movement or anything like that. And now, we're older, we're wiser, and we've been a part of both. We were raised, like serve everybody first and everybody's done by the time you sit. That's not how it is in my house. It's not like, I'm part of the meal that I just prepared.
Yes.
I'm part of it. Because then what are you modeling for the next and the next? And, I didn't always, definitely guilty mother syndrome throughout the entire time, especially as a working woman. Mm-hmm. I wasn't there, I couldn't go into a classroom. So did I go over the top with Of course I did. Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that. Of course I will. Like a schmuck. But anyway, but at the time, that's where I was. Mm-hmm. But then it was, okay, now. And as I started doing things for me first, big retraining at home. And I'm lucky, again, I'm with this clown for 40 years for a reason, because, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And it started with my Tuesday night groups. And so by the first month, they were used to, you have a group? Oh, okay. I missed concerts. I missed whatever. That's my priority. I was the priority for that. I had, book groups. I would, meet I still, after, 17 years, meet every week with one of my girlfriends for coffee. You're at Maureen's? Okay. So they get used to it. Mm-hmm. We write this story of like, that we have to every minute of it. No, absolutely not. And, I want my kids to, you don't need me. A little, Mom, what would you think? Okay, you can sounding board, you got it. But you've got the skill.
Right.
That's what you want to give them.
I love that you said that. We need to raise our children as independents.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We're there we're totally there. But you need to start thinking for yourselves, because if you're not thinking for yourselves, how the hell are you ever going to survive in the workplace?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, and even,
how do I deal with this?
Yeah. Empty nester, I was probably when my middle daughter was graduating high school and getting ready for college, because she gave me a little run for my money. But it was also at the same time, I started the group. So it was wonderful to have some support. But I was very happy. Now, different dynamic. Of course it is. By the time my son went away, high five. Is this an empty house? And it's not empty just because the day they leave it. These teenagers today, they have 1,000 activities. They're hardly home. You don't realize that you're probably empty nesting before you're empty nesting. And then I really think of it from a parental view of give yourself the biggest high five that you had 18 summers, you've produced a kid. Now is the test. Whether away, whether at home, whether whatever. College is not the end all answer either. Every person is different, but you did it. High five, checkered flag. Now, you go on and let them figure it out. It's so much fun to watch.
Absolutely. I love that you said that. Now, I've never experienced that. I will
Mhm,
admit, I'm a stepmom.
mhm.
I'm not. I don't have any children of my own. However, I have helped raise two
Exactly.
nephews.
Yeah. Mhm,
I was there with my brother. My dad. My brother was a single father for some of his life,
mhm,
and when he wasn't single, I helped the women along that were in his life. Let's just put it that way.
mhm.
And so, these kids look up to me. So, and like, it's how, so, basically helping mess them up until I get my own
True
stepson,
that.
right? And
Mhm.
then it's just like, my biggest philosophy is we all need therapy of some sort,
Always.
and we do our best
Mhm,
in what we know at the moment.
mhm,
I love my parents. It was complete chaos growing up
mhm,
with medical issues after medical issues. Um, and I grew up with a father that you were to be seen and not heard. If I said no the
mhm.
first time, you don't ask me the
You
second
certainly
time.
never questioned,
You never
because
questioned
you
it.
'cause you might have known what the result would be. Yeah, uh-huh,
Exactly.
uh-huh,
That happened once.
uh-huh.
My brother didn't always learn the first time, so
Correct. Mhm.
he got whooped more than once.
Reminded a few
Reminded,
times. Yes,
right?
uh-huh. Mhm,
But then I look at it, and my dad was the oldest. So back in that day, my grandfather was working 3 jobs to put food on the table for 5 kids and his wife. Um, my dad was made the example in his family. And so if my dad screwed up, he was beat quite literally. My
mhm,
grandfather threw him through the door and then made him pay for it
mhm,
afterwards. And
mhm.
so my dad totally did better than his dad.
Right.
And I don't even want to think of my great grandparents,
Right.
how
You
my
can't even
grandfather
go there.
was.
Right.
Can't even
Mhm.
go there, right? And I know he did better than his father because I've heard stories. But
Right.
it's just like we all do the
A
best
little
that
bit.
we can with what
Mm.
we are given. And
Mhm.
then we find something different, and then we're like, oh shit, I just screwed my kid up. But that's why we have trained professionals.
Yes.
and
It's
and
so true. And trained professionals that aren't in the family mix, that
exactly.
have no skin in the game, that are just listening to your words and listening to probably the trauma and listening to that little kid. And they're able to sit back very objectively and saying, hey, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
You know, and when you sit back from the adult mind and then look back to that child or look back to that parent, and then you find the compassion
Yeah.
and the forgiveness, and then 1,000 pounds is lifted off of your shoulders, and you stand a little taller. That's where the growth comes.
100%. Yeah, I had no idea I was even going to share any of that, but it came out. So somebody must
But
need to
here we
hear
are.
it. And you're right, and growth, and I don't know about you, but the moment I see something in myself that needs to change, I'm on it and changing it. Where our parents never grew up with that, right? Like our parents never grew up with personal development or self-help or anything like that. At least mine didn't. Um, and now my parents are like, whew, you go, girl. I have no idea. I don't understand you, but you
No.
go.
Yeah.
And so it's finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
And it's an experience, and one we all need to go at our own pace in.
It's there for us. And well, sometimes we might resist. We don't want to. I don't care that the road is ending. I'm still going to plow through that barrier, even though the easier way is to exit off and no, let me just see what's really on the other side. We learn differently. It's funny that you say about your parents and such. My dad just turned 90, and this past October, so he lives in Puerto Rico, and we managed to get 26 of us, all of his children, his grandchildren, his great grandchildren, my uncle, my cousins, like the whole lineage of Martinez's were represented, and it was just wonderful. We all went to Puerto Rico. We get there on time, a miracle in itself. But someone must have told him. I never told him about the podcast. We just are how the kids and everything like that. And he's like, "What is this? What are they talking about? What's a podcast?" And I'm like, "Give me your phone. Let me show you." So then I bring up that they go, "Oh, so I just have to." Yep, and there's my voice. You hear it, and I just talk. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna listen." Okay, it's if you want, but it was fun. It was fun to be like, how come how come you didn't tell me? I'm like, again, podcast dad, it's you've got the phone. We're really proud that you use the phone. It's good. It's all fine, but it is still fun.
It is. And, I don't know about you, but when I decided 3 years ago to start my first show, I did it because, well, I wrote a book. And then I'm like, okay, so nobody knows, number one, where Ontario is on the map, because all you Americans have no idea, clue about Canada, number one. And number two, no one knew who I was. Like, no, I never put myself front and center before now. And that's not who I was, as I was hiding. When you spent your childhood being bullied, it's not something that you want to be the front and center of attention, right?
Mhm.
And so in that, I was just like, okay, but if I'm going through these things, there's other people in life that are going through them.
So true.
And you and I both know that when you're going through the fire, you feel like you're alone. You feel like
Mhm.
no one else has gone through it. You feel like life is about ready to end, and you just know that you have to take one more deep breath and one more foot in front of the other. But how can we reach these people that are going through the same thing, or even worse than we are? Because I don't know about you, but I can always find somebody who's going through something way more worse than I am in the moment.
Always.
But we really don't even realize that, because we're so focused on our own
Right.
shit
Right.
that we can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I started my show. My first one was to help bridge that gap and bring these people together. So would you say that would be your experience on why you started your
So
show?
I'm just not really even listening to your question, because it's and I wrote a book, and my first show, and I'm listening to this amazing, like, oh yeah, and then a little
Sorry.
discounting, like, hey, I wrote this, like, damn it, you wrote a book. And a book that's out there, a book that people can click on a link, and your words are there, and celebrate, girlfriend, is what I'm saying. So here's your high five. Okay.
Thank you.
But I didn't listen to the end of it, because I'm like, she just said it, like, oh, and then I just, I cut my hair yesterday, and then no, you wrote a book. And then I started my first show. I hear these words.
Yes. Well, thank you for that, because you're right. And it's funny, because I have people in my circle that say, do you even realize what it is that you've done? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not where I want to be. And so I focus on where I not want to be.
And that's okay, because you know what? When you get there, like when you're done with your commas, and then you put the period at the end, are you going to say it any differently? No, you're not. So you may, don't strive for the period. Keep going for the commas. Keep going for the additions. Get a little semicolon in there. I don't care. Don't put the period on it yet. You're not done.
No, I just started.
Aha. Okay. You just started. And I did totally forget the question, because I was so focused on, why is she just discounting herself? I'm sorry.
And thank you for that. Thank you, because that's a reminder that I still need to do a little bit of work.
Do you even? I guess the question. I'm sorry. I don't mean to flip it.
No, that's okay.
Do you want to be there? Like, I'm not done yet. Great. Or I still have more to do. Because done is kind of finite. Like, that's all I'm check it off. Look I've got, I've done 10 things. Here you go, everybody. Good luck. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm not going to produce. I'm not going to contribute anything else. Or I've just gotten started.
And thank you for that, because that is okay. So if I look at my original goal that I created 3 years ago.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay. So I see where I have built what I built. Maybe not how I originally thought.
People might say, like, on the way to my empire. Go on.
Right. On the way to my empire. You're 100% correct. And then, yeah. It doesn't
Yeah.
look anything on how I originally thought, because I thought, I would, when I built it, the money would be along with it. And because it's not where I want it to be, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm still doing what I had set out to do.
Right. Yeah. And would, if the money came again, would it still, we think we chase the money. We think we chase the money when in fact the chase is really the trip. The again, we've heard it, the journey, the path, the road, whatever you want to call it, it's all in due time. Now, do we want the instant payoff? Yes, I want to see sevens across that slot machine. I want to hear the bells and whistles and the guy coming with the suitcase full of. I want that, of course. But how much more am I getting out of this, of me, and how much more is everyone around me getting?
Okay, I didn't think we would be going here
Priceless.
today. It's
Sorry.
priceless. Yes,
Priceless.
it's absolutely priceless. And okay, I just got slapped on my own show, so that's pretty awesome.
I apologize.
I love it. I love it.
Priceless.
I love it. But this is,
Priceless.
I'm
Yeah.
open, and every morning in my meditation, I'm like, God, show me where the miracles are. Help me to show me where the miracles are and perform those miracles. And this is a miracle. It was something in my way of what I need to be unblocked
Right.
for the next step. That's all it
Because
is.
I think, I mean, listen, I'm the gold medal winner in money blockage. I'm surprised I haven't written the book, and I'm not. I don't sit surrounded by bags of anything. I don't, and I'm still such a work in progress. Such a work. My goodness, I think I'm still a round ball of clay, getting just molded. But it's not the end all.
No.
Now, yes, it's in this world that we live in, because money is used as the exchange. That's what we strive for, but we really discount the life. And if you really think about it, the money is there because you're still you're producing, like you're doing all of these things that cost money.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, I know you have, it all costs money. But still, I think we all have that vision or thought that, okay, we're going to stop working. We're just going to hopefully, and granted, hopefully travel, spend time doing whatever. The freedom is really what we want. Freedom of choice.
Yes.
Freedom of
100%.
choice and freedom of time is really what you want. And then to have that, money's a part of it, but money's not the answer. It's the freedom part that needs to, kind of get a little tweaked to maybe when the focus is on that, then that's all part and parcel. Because when you think about what that represents, well, if I have the freedom to, if I want to go on a trip today, if I want to just enjoy a day at the park or at the lake or wherever, I'm able to do so because I don't have to clock in somewhere, because I don't have to do this, because I don't have to. Why? Because I've got the money. But the money's one little piece of it.
Exactly. And thank you. That's breaking that down newly. I mean, it's all things you've heard. When you hear something for like the 7th, 8th time, but you hear it differently.
And suddenly it's like the light bulb. It's in my case, like it always like sits me back, like, or someone like, kind of be like, if I know I'm bullshitting my way out of something and someone calls me out of it, and I'm like, all right, you got me. Yeah, only because I'm avoiding and I don't want to have to face what really is the truth or the blockage. So I've been definitely in the last year working so much on that, only because here I am. I'll be 63 in a couple months, and I don't tend to look around, but I have friends that are retiring and all of that. And number one, we enjoy working. Now, do I enjoy working for the man? And again, why I have my little part two, as I call it, or Stephanie 3.0, or at this point, 18.5, whatever the hell number we're up to, whatever version, she's waiting in the wings, just finish a couple finishing touches, and then we try it out. I'm all for experimenting. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
I love that. When's your birthday, actually?
May 2nd. I'm a Taurus.
Really?
I'm a bull. You?
So my mom's is May 19th, so that's awesome.
Okay.
I'm July 5th.
I have a July 1st and a July 12th. I have 2 Cancers. Yes.
Interesting.
And my sister's the 19th and my grandson's the 26th. You name it, July is our month. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. March is generally our month in our family. You always have that month where you joke about it and say it's our broke month. Because at one point, between friends and family, we had 16 birthdays in the month of March.
Wow.
And now that my dad's gone, well, I don't have to buy for him. And the rest of them, I just don't buy for anymore. And I give a shout out to my friends. It's like, if we get together, we'll have a drink together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to joke about that, but yeah, 16.
That's a lot.
And 3 friends are on the same damn date. I'm just like, seriously?
That is funny. Yeah, it happens that way.
It does. No, I was just curious. You know what? I think my grandfather or grandmother was May 2nd or 4th. I have to check.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
One's the 4th, one's the 7th. And then their anniversary was the 19th, which is my mom's birthday. And then my parents' anniversary is May 25th.
Oh, a day before my mother's birthday. Okay. Yeah. It's all, yeah. That's so funny.
That was hilarious. See, this is the reason why we were connected.
This is no coincidence. I will say, I think I was telling you earlier that in these past, especially these 2 weeks, and I don't know if I've really started meditating with a daily intention in like the last 2 weeks, a little different. And the people that are just appearing are, I know God has a great sense of humor, and, and you have to remember that, especially when things like aren't working out. But the people that I'm meeting in these last 2 weeks are like, thank you, Lord. This is what, exactly what you've asked for, you're getting. And now you're just like zinging with so much excitement of, I can't believe I just met this woman, and let's see where we're going. Like as though I picked you up at the truck stop and we're like, all right, listen, I'm heading this way. Okay, we're there. Turn on the radio and we go. That's what I feel like.
The fact that you're from New York,
yes,
and for the fact that we just went to New York for the very first time in September.
Oh, okay.
And it's a place that I've always wanted to go.
Did you stay in the city? You stayed in New York City?
We stayed in New Jersey.
Okay.
Which, just like
Over
5
the bridge.
minutes. 5 minutes from Manhattan. And so going back and forth daily and things like that. And there's still a lot I want to do. My husband's like, I'm good. I see New York. I'm good. And I'm like, I feel that I need to go back. Like I feel that there's something missing that it wasn't. So I'm like, it's so amazing that I meet friends in the cities that I really want to go back to, because eventually I'll go back and I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Right.
I got to meet back up with Stephanie, and there's a reason why.
Absolutely. And I'm about an hour out of New York City. Long Island so I'm kind of in the middle of Long Island. And then I'm kind of smack in the middle. So an hour east of me is the Hamptons, for everybody kind of is familiar with that, or Montauk. We're not an island, we're like a peninsula. But it's centrally, I'll say centrally located. I've been here all my life. I was born in the Bronx, but came out to Long Island when I was 5, watched this place grow. I lived probably 2 towns past where I grew up, which was a really magical time because it was just everybody starting new. It was all new developments and things like that. And I really wanted that atmosphere for my kids, who have, one lives in Philly, one lives in North Carolina. Like they've since moved on, and I give them so much credit. And now, I'm like, why did I want to stay so long? I don't know. I guess I like it. And now we're just, kind of looking around for, where the next stop's going to be. But to move like after all these years, it's definitely exciting. But come back to New York, a must. And yes, New York City's fun. It is. It's, I don't know what people have ideas of what you see. The city these last 2 years, it's just not at its best, unfortunately, from what I hear, because I don't think I've stepped foot in the city, maybe since COVID, or maybe I was there once to see a show. But it is a really fun place. I will say I'm going to give my vote for Long Island, which is just as beautiful.
Well, now I definitely need to go to Long Island.
Then
And
you will.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
then
like
you will.
that.
So that'll be fun. And then maybe we can like do an episode. What do they call it? When you're
On location.
on location.
On location in Long Island. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I love this.
I love that. There's just so many possibilities, my friend. It's
Mhm.
endless.
Definitely. And that's what it's about. That's why for whatever reason, we're still here. So why not? Why not, take it all in, share it all, extend a hand, help another along the way. Why not?
And that's probably the answer to my question that you kind of linked in on was, why did you start this? Why did you start your show?
Oh, okay. I totally, it was so funny because I'm like, she's asking a question. I'm not even listening. My show, I've always listened to podcasts. I have an hour-long commute. And after a while, I just got tired of listening to the radio. So I started listening to podcasts, I don't know, 7 years ago, when it was still really early on. A lot of celebrities at the time, even more now, but a lot of celebrities at the time had early podcasts. And I kind of felt like, well, this is interesting. Like they're kind of letting you in on their world. I learned a lot of things that all just different topics. I wasn't really following anybody type thing. And I just always knew I wanted to, I guess, have a voice to just let the women, I was really thinking of my daughters, girls, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like it doesn't. And we struggle with that. And, you can just almost time it to, again, lose your identity, all of that stuff. And did I want to save them, or did I just want to tell them it can be different? But where am I going to do this? I have no idea. So then I say, I think I want a podcast. Yeah, I think I have something to say. Give Stephanie a microphone. Because I am shy and introverted.
I would have never known.
My kids got tired of hearing me talk about it for 3 years, and they bought me equipment and such. And then, as luck would have it, there was a course right as COVID was hitting. I said, "Oh, okay, I could do this. 8 weeks, I can commit." Okay, and the idea of the course was that they were going to produce and release one episode. That's all I needed was one. I really didn't think too far past it. I knew I had like 6 people here locally that I wanted to interview. Some of my friends in my mastermind, one of my mentors, 2 of my kids. Like I just wanted to put their voices out there. After that, I had no idea. And I was extremely fortunate. There's a great couple of Facebook communities that find a guest, be a guest on podcasts. People pitch themselves. I happened to stumble upon that. Then after like a couple months, booking agents, don't ask me how, they find me, they find my email, they jump in and they say, hey, we've got these people we'd like to suggest as guests. And I was like, me? So, going on 3 years, it's, and I get to meet wonderful women. I get to hear these stories and share it. And then I also get to read that comment or that text message or that email from that one person that says, I needed to hear that day.
Mhm.
What are the odds?
I absolutely love that, and you're right, because it's just when you think about giving up, then somebody goes into your DMs that says, you really saved my life today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when the first time I saw that, it gave me chills, and I was just like, I originally started because I was saying, even if I get one person, if I save
Mm.
one person, because
Right.
I know what it's like to lose somebody to suicide, and I was just
Mm.
like, it's dark going through some of this shit by yourself, and so I thought, okay. And then
Mm.
when I got the one, and then another one, and then you feel like giving up because you're like, no one's listening, so why bother? And
Right.
then you get people coming out of the work are like, no, stay at it, like you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
everybody's story. Like we all just think, we're so alone, and it only happened to us. And it's interesting because I was speaking with this woman. I think her episode's coming out in a couple weeks, and she was saying that she was in, I want to say maybe a 2-year relationship with a gentleman, very close with his family. They vacationed together. They did a lot of things, and then one day she got a phone call from his wife. And I'm sitting back, I'm listening to the story because I didn't know that part about it. I'm like, oh, huh. And like how then she went on to build what she's built, on and on. And I'm like, unfortunately, you had to go through that, and it sounds like so shitty. But you always want to thank that experience because you needed to step on the prickly fish to get to the smooth surface up, and she's like, oh, 100%. But at the time, obviously, you're going through it. Of course you are. It's all the stages of emotion that we get. But it's, that's why everybody, and it doesn't, I mean, I don't have to search too far. We all have one. I have a story. You have a story. We all have one. It's, what you really choose to then, or decide how it's going to be after that. We've got the power of the pen. We write it. It's our story to write.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. It's
As
right.
I talk to the author, as I say that to the author, the already published author. I'm sorry. Wear the crown if it fits.
Where exactly, and I thank you, and there's more, right? I believe everybody should write their own story. If nothing, it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Tip to the wise, though: don't use real names.
Oh, okay.
You could be sued, so
Okay.
don't use real names. Protect the names of the innocent.
Yes.
In quotation marks, innocent.
Yeah.
And it's just therapeutic, if nothing
I
else.
was going to say, well, anything, journaling, anything to, or even talking, to get it out. I think there's so much power to, pen to paper. A little, and again, granted, there are some things that, you have to do on the computer, but just to data dump it, get it out, like just flush it, and then that also leaves so much more room for the unknown, for the new to arrive.
Oh, you said so much in that, because I've had like 3 or 4 books just percolating, and I'm just like, I don't have the time. Because I'm focusing on other stuff first. And so when the time comes, is when I can retire from corporate America and do this full time.
Mm-hmm. I've heard on a couple of podcasts, ironically, some people who have written books, that they use voice memo. And then there's an app or something that then transcribes, so that at least you have a bulk of what you want out. And then you go back, as opposed to sitting and like typing each and every word.
Yes. There's one thing with me, though. I attempted that.
Oh, okay.
And
I was curious.
I've
never used it, so
I hate editing. So when I go back, because for whatever the the dictation doesn't pick up every word that I say. So trying to go back and edit what my thoughts were, and then it just pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good for a lot of people. Just for me, I just, you're right. There's this thing in your phone though called notes, which, I didn't think to use until the other day. And so I had an inspirational thought come to me, and I'm like, well, for a post or something that I was doing. And I'm like, oh, just type it in there. It's okay. Just type it in there and then use that and go back and use that. But I love what you said, using the dictation. You're right. Because, hey, eventually you could just give that dictation to a ghostwriter and they can write it for you. They can edit it for you.
Or any VA or any, just to get that the first time. And think about, I'm just thinking out loud because I've never done the process, but again, you've saved the time. You haven't, you might have even saved that 30 minutes, half hour, 45, an hour of what you dedicate to, I'm going to write every day type thing. You get so much out, and then, or write an outline and then talk, do your talking points on each outline, bullets. I don't know.
I love that. that. So here's a secret, and I've never told anybody.
Oh.
So yeah, you're hearing
this has
it
to
today.
be a segment in our show, by the way. Go on.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
So when my business partner and I first decided to join forces 2 years ago, she'd come up with the fact that there would be a documentary about us. Because we do a lot of work within the military and veterans and things like that. And we decided that eventually, because we're out, I can't even begin to tell you exactly what we're out to create, but it's massive. And she says, keep either a journal or a video, do videos of our daily things, right? So, and keeping that in mind, I kind of forgot about that. And then in these moments where I'm really going through the shit storms, I do like a Dear Diary video. And so I have vlogs, like a video diary inside of my StreamYard that no one has seen. And eventually I will take those videos and either do a book or a documentary myself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love, okay. We'll talk more when we're done with, I love that. Yeah. Like everything about it. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Okay. So you've already started and you didn't even, okay. You're there.
I'm there. It's just different. But
and that's how it is, I think, with so many people that, you see it just one way. Like, well, no, I can't. I have it. But when I retire, I don't have the time. It's not as though you're catching up on all your Netflix shows. No, you're busy and you're doing things and you're creating, and that's all fine. But you don't realize, yeah, you have this. Oh, I had this. Okay.
I do have it.
Yeah. That's great.
Just a different way. All right, my friend. So I have normally Kimberly would come on the show and do the fundamental section. And for those of you that this is maybe your first episode, so fundamentals is spelled capital FUN dash duh and then dash mentals, because we like to have fun on the show. And it's all about the fundamentals. So my friends, we consider fundamentals. If you were to leave planet Earth tomorrow, what are the 3 things that you would want the world to remember you by? So what are your 3 fundamentals?
Remember me by her laugh, the sound of her laugh, breaking out in a dance party at any time.
Like, God, I love that.
And she always had a smile.
I love that. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
The
dance parties are really important. And it just, for a half a song, 30 seconds, a minute, the whole set, a 20-minute set. Believe me, there are times at work where I'm just like rocking in my ears and just breaking it up a little, and people walk in and I'm like, 1 second. All right, what? Okay. And then just go back, and yeah, it's a great way.
I dance in my seat at work sometimes because I just sometimes I'll listen to podcasts, sometimes I'll listen to other shows, sometimes whatever. And sometimes it's music because the music lifts me up.
Yep.
And I love that you said that. So I'll be in my chair. No one has, thank God, seen me. I'm in a cubicle, or maybe they
Mhm.
have seen me and they haven't come and say, "How come you're so weird?" And I really don't care what they think of me. That's the best
It's
part.
it's their opinion. And you say,
Exactly.
is the most powerful. Duly noted. Do you feel better now? Keep moving. Go.
I'm laughing because I know what duly noted really
Duly
means.
noted. Yeah. People have that, like they have to tell you. Do you? Okay. Duly noted. Doesn't penetrate. Keep going.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much,
It's
Stephanie, for
because
coming
it's not
on.
about us. It's not about
No.
us, everybody. People don't, we're not that important. Everybody thinks that, well, they're thinking about me and they're talking about me. You only wish, my friend. Everybody's got their own shit going on and they could care less. So
So
worry
that
about you.
person that you think is totally pissed off at you is not
Uh-huh.
even thinking about you.
Nothing.
And we
And
made
yet
it
the
such a big deal up
story, oh
here.
my God, that story is so written in the head. I'm like, wow, you wrote the story. Hasn't happened yet. That means you have the power to write the story the way you want it. So why don't you write it the way you want it?
We're talking a lot about writing stories today, aren't
We
we?
are, aren't we?
Perhaps this should be a
That's weird.
segue into the next thing, right? I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah, indeed. We'll see. The next chapter, pun intended, not
Pun
sure.
intended. The next chapter, maybe I don't know, maybe it's a collaborative book of stories of women that have overcome and really just help other people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Interesting. There's something there anyways.
there is. We're gonna find it,
We will find it. With your cardinal and my eagle, we will find it.
and she's been here the whole time again. Actually, I
Really.
did call on her this morning to say, "Hey, let's go show." And then when I was having my technical difficulties, I'm like, "All right, I'll be patient. I know this is supposed to happen this way." Um, everything in due time. I think perhaps age does give that to you. Is a little bit of a perspective of life. I'm supposed to be where I am at a certain place at a certain time, especially like when it comes to traffic and cars. Yeah, it all works.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So, Stephanie,
Hold
where
on,
can people
hold on.
find
I
you?
think my dog is getting into something. Give me a minute.
Yep. No problem.
What are you doing?
I love that.
Hopefully you can edit that. I apologize because I'm like, is that my daughter? Because I'm really going to kill her. And she knows I'm recording. And all of a sudden it clicked. I'm like, it's the goddamn dog.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Where?
Are you good? Okay. Okay. She's back. Yes.
Breathe. Take a deep breath. Take
I'm
a deep
going
breath.
to.
It's all good. Where do you want people to find you at, Stephanie? Where's the best place?
So I do both Instagram and the gram and Facebook. So Instagram, I am at Stephanie Martinez Rivera, and then Facebook, Stephanie Rivera. And podcasts I put on both places. This week, we're actually launching a Joy Found Here community, a private community on Facebook. And that's very exciting. It's kind of my first step. Again, I talked about it for a while, got tired of hearing my own crap. It's happening. It's going in messy. We're going to learn. Okay. So, but
Best
we're doing
place to do it.
Yep.
Best place to do it. Go in messy.
Go in messy.
And I have
Yeah.
your website here, joyfoundhere.com. Is that
That
correct?
is correct. Absolutely.
Perfect. And so thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on. I mean, it's
Oh,
been
my
an
goodness.
absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you to our guests for listening. Do you have any last words for our guests?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? It doesn't have to be hard. You're doing a great job. Take it easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. Celebrate your wins. And just remember, you get to choose. You get to. Makes it a little better.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. And I just want to give a last shout out to the last sponsor of today's show, which is unstoppableovercomers.com. We have a 7-week program that helps people transition. It's called Operation Hope, helping other people evolve. And so we are meeting Tuesday nights. So if you want to get into that, like I said, we're on week 2 of 6. So to find more information about that, just go to unstoppableovercomers.com/coaching to get your information on that. We would love to have you if you're ready to get rid of your shit, if you're ready to quit being in that cycle of hopelessness and devastation and, oh my God, finding your purpose back in life and just really wanting to connect with other people. Definitely join us there. If you'd like more information, definitely connect with us either here in the comments or, on our website. We would love to hear from you. With that, guys, be unstoppable in all that you do. And don't forget, same time, same channel next week.